What is up YouTube, and welcome to this Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. video. We went to the 80s this episode, and while it was mainly filler, I did have a grin on my face all throughout the episode with the 80s references. I was hoping for some maybe more overt references, but it was fun considering Deke is my favourite character. As always, there will be spoilers for this episode, and please do consider subscribing with notifications on. And if you enjoyed the video, please do hit the like button as it helps us out massively. I will be streaming a Q&A this Sunday as a test for an upcoming charity stream for my local food bank. I want to give something back to the people in my local area, and I hope that we can raise at least £200 for a local food bank, which would help our families in my area massively. So we open the episode with May asking Deke what happened in the time he was stuck in the past, which is where we flash back to a computer worker being shoved a computer to fix by a douchebag who had a sweater around his neck, which is pretty much the staple of every preppy douchebag villain in 80s movies. There are just so many. The computer isn't working, and it soon starts talking to the lonely computer repairman, and it reminds me of the film War Games, which is a superbly underrated 80s movie. But as we find out a female is stuck in the computer and that it is the predictor Sybil, then we get into weird science territory. I feel the references could have been a bit kind of more overt, like I said, which is a shame as the episode had so much potential. Considering it was named after Bill and Ted, we didn't really get any of them, apart from, the whole time thing. I feel it would have been better with the whole crew. We could have seen everyone's reaction to the 80s with Deke with a wild-eyed wonder. But Mac goes to see his younger self, and considering his parents are actually, now dead, and he has to struggle with this, he retreats back into himself, building model cars and drinking beer. He's turned into a sort of fat Thor without, being fat or looking like the Big Lebowski. Deke is trying to get through to him, which is failing every time. So not only is Mac stuck in the 80s, he has issues with, killing his robot parents. And his whole outlook on robots is going to be really bleak this episode. Sybil is finally turned into a robot, and it is almost every single robot from the 80s movies in one. Sybil is in this robot, and the murderous robots are, in my opinion, based on the movie Killbot, who wreak havoc all throughout the most 80s of locations, the mall. Mac finally attempts to make peace with Deke and heads to Swayze's, which is quite clearly a bar based on Roadhouse, which Patrick Swayze starred in. Mac soon finds Deke, who now has his full band, the Deke Squad, and is dressed in what looks like an homage to either Michael Jackson or Eddie Murphy in his Raw special. He goes full Marty McFly as he sings the Simple Minds' iconic tune, Don't You Forget About Me, from A Breakfast Club, which I would argue is the most 80s movie of all time. He just can't help but steal things from the future and claim them in the present, can he? Mac and Deke chat, and the Deke Squad are introduced just like the A-Team, and I love the naivety of Deke about cocaine. Again, a very 80s drug there. We have the tall Russian blonde woman who is probably Bridget Nielsen in Rocky IV, the typical 80s drummer, a weird rocker girl who is similar to the Rogues in Say Anything, and the twins, which are probably a stand-in for the Koenig brothers. Deke is using his band in the lighthouse to recreate S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm not sure why he didn't just reach out to S.H.I.E.L.D. at the time. If he's trying not to mess with time and kind of keep to himself, he's failing miserably because he's recruited S.H.I.E.L.D. and is claiming future songs for himself. Mac is given a pep talk by Agent Coulson, who is now quite clearly play on Mac's Headroom, a video DJ, which is synonymous with the 80s. Coulson has survived as his mind was put on a hard drive, and he is now in what looks like a tape player, and he is now our version of Mac's Headroom, who was an iconic character, like I said, in the 80s. Sybil starts making more of herself as the poor repairman brings flowers, but is murdered. And boy, this show is getting very, very gory. I'm not too sure on the TV age ratings in America, but I don't think that would fly in the UK here, as it was quite savage there. So she's replicating herself as she is becoming more and more kind of able to do what she wants. Deke gets his crew to run his own gauntlet as they fail miserably. I'm not sure if this is a sort of American Gladiators reference, as Mac is given his signature weapon, a silver shotgun axe. He's going to need this if he's facing these killbots. The robots are now in the lighthouse and kill the cokehead drummer, and the Deke squad are losing people left, right and centre. Mac is convinced to go easy on Deke, as Deke has actually been looking after young Mac and making sure he has everything that he needs, because Deke is just a general nice guy. Finally, it's the showdown with the robots, and in a Doctor Who reference, they say exterminate and attack Mac. Mac helps dispatch them, and it turns out the time stream is still at the lighthouse, which is of course needed for the Chromicons to travel. And I'm not too sure why they didn't go and look for it. It felt really weird that a robot just appeared and took it and buggered off. Eventually, all the robots are killed, and Mac and the crew now celebrate, and he goes to see his younger self and accepts what has happened. Yo-Yo and the crew return in 1983, and the next mission will continue right on from here. Jim May is also seemingly coming around to the idea of Coulson. But we cut to another Doctor Who reference. The robot with the time stream is going downstairs, and it is a reference, of course, to the murderous robots, the Daleks, as well, who had lasers. But they couldn't go down the stairs. This one can, but the Daleks could go down the stairs there, as they had kind of rocket booster things in the rebooted Doctor Who in 2005. The time stream is taken to the Nathaniel Malick, who is quite clearly the big bad for this season now moving forward. He is seemingly okay after stealing Daisy powers, and Sybil is now helping him. She is stuck in a TV like Coulson, but everyone she seems to help and gives technology to actually dies, just like his dear old pa there. But I did enjoy this episode for what it was. It could have gone a bit further, but you know what? It's at face value, it's good. That's not a reference to Phil Collins there. But that's it for this episode on this breakdown. So let's go into the trailer for next week, and there will be spoilers for this trailer, so this is your chance to click off now. But we see May and Yo-Yo head to Afterlife, which is where Ji Yang has her Inhuman community, which sort of started around about 1983, as that's when the eyeless man, the sort of Oracle man Inhuman lived and went into Terrigenesis. That is Gordon, of course, and they want to work out a way to try and get Daisy back her powers, I am presuming. Now, considering the fact that Daniel Whitehall also had beef with Ji Yang, as that is how he was managed to kind of get some powers and this whole thing spiraled out of, well, that's going to be interesting moving forward, considering that Whitehall has helped Nathaniel Malick. So we're going to see those two face to face and go off, and time will change quite heavily, because this period in time was a huge part for the start of Daisy's life, and also where they went later in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So I'm interested to see where this goes next. But the time drive is also broken, which explains why there's erratic jumps, and I expect more people to be sort of stuck in the past. But that's it for this video. Please do drop a like down below. Please do subscribe with notifications on. Check out our Discord in the descriptions, and check out our stream on Sunday, where we will be doing a Q&A. I will be scheduling that after this video goes out. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.